It's 10:55, so I'm going to pause the recording and start it when class starts. Ciao studenti, come state? Spero che bene. Allora, this is a little walk through the subjunctive slides, which you have in Canvas, and I also sent in a separate message. And yes, so the expectation was that you were going to go through this on your own on the first couple of days, and then we do some activities, some practice activities today and tomorrow. And these are mostly recognition, multiple choice, and games before I ask you to do the cuaderno in which you're writing just the verb, right? And this is how to build it. Then next week, we are going to focus on when to use the subjunctive, although at the end of this slideshow, there are some hints. And there's plenty of material about this online. And if you know another Romance language like French or Spanish, they also use the subjunctive. German does too, right? It's not only Romance languages that use the subjunctive, but many Indo-European languages as well. And even well, let me not get too much ahead of me. This is Italian now. I tend to talk and go on tangents. Allora, this is just an example of the subjunctive. And then congiuntivo in Italiano, subjunctive. And this is, you see here, she is thinking. And she said, io voglio che mi diano tutta la torta. I want that they give me the whole cake. O che mi aprano il frigorifero, or that they open the fridge for me. And English doesn't have a subjunctive tense anymore. That's why it's not easy to translate, although there's a remnant. If when people say, "I want that it be known that so and so is so and so," right? That be would be subjunctive. And also, if I were an animal, I would be a bird, right? If I were, right? As opposed to the incorrect if I was, which is also commonly said. So that where is also a fossil of the subjunctive in English. But we don't use it anymore, at least in English. But if you see here, dare, you see this is different. And this is one of the few like true irregular verbs. There's not that many irregulars, which is good to know, right? And then aprire, you see that is an ire verb. And then all of a sudden you have an A there, right? Although if you know other languages like Spanish, abrir, que me abran, right, it does exactly the same thing. And for that also, we start by reviewing the formal imperative, which is the ley and the loro form of commands, right? And the usted and ustedes, or the vous form, or the sie form in German, would be in French. And English only has you and you, right? They don't we don't use the thee and thou anymore, but there used to be degrees of formality. But here, prendere, this is an ere verb, and you see this is prenda. So it's like we put in the wrong ending, right? And yes, we do remember this from the formal imperative, although it may seem that it was so long ago. It wasn't that long ago, right? So to form the formal imperative and also many forms of the subjunctive, we take the io form in simple present. Why? Because you do have a lot of the where is it? A lot of the irregularities or changes are already there when we have them. For example, this is lavoro, mangio, leggo, scrivo, mi siedo, dormo. These are all regular, but then you see here venire, you have that magical G. Oh my God, I can't draw with my mouse. This also salgo, and this has this root, right? This has the ish, and we have a if we have a verb also with an irregular root like bere, bebo, right? So we would have be the eo form, which is irregular here, and this is what we use. The lavoro, mangio, parlo are right, but then we have faccio and vado, which are irregular are in the present simple, and we'll see how that relates to, well, you know how it relates to the imperative already, but we'll see how that ties into the subjunctive. So, and then to put the formal imperative, and this is just the lay form, and the loro form, you just put an O at the end. Lavori, lavorino, lega, legano, right? So, and it's like for a, oh, wait, sorry. Annotate. So, and for a, you put E, right? It's like you change. And for ire, right, which would say, oh, we put the E here, right? And ere does the same thing. No, we put then the other one. You put the a, right? So it's like the are, right? This is the a ending and the ire, but also ere, the e ending. So it's like you're switching them. And yes, let's see, clear drawings. So we can move on. Then so we did this for the imperative, and some of them are missing, but if you have the dorma now, you know that this is dorma. If you have finisca here, you know it's finiscano. Parli, parlino, parta, partano. And then there was also the whole sheet that we did in the quaderno. And then these are some irregulars, right? So, and I'm typing some of them. And this is the formal imperative, right? This is not the faccia, and then would be facciano, andare, vada, and vadano, right? And in this, wait. So let's see here. And in the case of this, sorry about that timer. So fare and andare. So these are true irregulars here. Oh, wait. What happened here? I missed. Okay, so these are true irregulars because it's not abbia is not the io form in the present, right? It's io o, io do, sono, io so, and sto, right? So this is irregular because you cannot predict the pattern. And then this is fare is considered irregular because although it keeps the fach root, right? So instead of um, okay, let okay. What am I doing? I'm trying to type on it. Okay, yes. So faccio, right? But if it's are, you would put e, right? But again, it's not facci, but faccia. So you still put the a, although it's an are verb. The same thing with, right? With andare. It's an adverb, but you still put the a, and that's what makes it irregular. Although the root itself is the predictable io present tense root. And that takes care of most of the changes in the subjunctive. If you remember the io in present tense, and then so all this here is things that I will ask you to read on your own. I don't want to say everything in a video because it will get too long. So yeah. But this is how a verb in the present subjunctive is going to look at. So, and this you see, and then que tu, and this ties up to when to use the subjunctive. But you see that usually there's either like a desire for somebody else, right? Because if you desire that you go travel is I want to travel, or I wish to travel. But if you want that somebody else does it, then you use the subjunctive. And then in these cases, that's why is usually you have to specify the change in subject, right? What I want that they do, or what they want that I do, and so on. And that's why you tend to have the subjunctive more often in the here. Although there are some impersonal expressions that may not have a change in subject, but we'll get to those later. Okay, io canti, right? And you see the are, the e. Also, another reason is because you see all the three forms, the singular forms have the same ending. So that just like in English, when you have like the same verb form for many different subjects, then you tend to use the pronouns, right? Like I want, you want, they want, as opposed to saying want, which you can say in languages where each form is different. And then also the noi form is the same as the present, like the conjugation. And then the ire, that the ones that have ish use have the ish, in every form except the same ones where you don't use it in present, which is noi and voi. And so it will be, if you had, sorry, capire, it will be capisca, 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 capiamo, capiate, capiscano. Right. And then also these are just reminders. So this, you should be used to this already because we've been doing it a lot. So you are putting an I after the C, so you need the H, or after the G as well. Otherwise, it will be cerci or pagi, pagi, just like when we do that in present. And then some examples. La mamma vuole che i figli studino e ricevano buoni voti. So this will be done by, and then some other reminders in like a different format. And then if you see here, this is some people, like some textbooks will see irregular verbs in present subjunctive. Well, just keep in mind that some verbs like andare, right, vado, vado, but then the noi, which is exactly the same as present, right? And you know that it doesn't have the V. And then the voi, very often something similar happens, right? So, but like andare is here, so you need to remember this one. But here is the bev, just like bevo, right? Dare is irregular, but dire is just the io dico, and you have the dic, sorry, the dic root here. And then dovere is irregular, right? Io devo, vo in present, but then the subjunctive is irregular. And then fare, io faccio, and you see this is the root that you use for all of them, but it's an adverb, and you still do put the a here. So that's what makes it irregular. But some of them, as you see here, they're not really, and they're not really irregular, right? Because you can io posso, right? And then you just put the subjunctive to poss, right? Rimanere, io rimango, right? The same thing. It's not really irregular. It's just irregular in the io form. Salire, io salgo, right? But again, the sometimes like the if it's a magical G verb, you don't use the G in the noi and voi forms. But sapere, right? Sapere is considered irregular because it's just io so, and then sapi, but it's more like the noise sappiamo, S-A-P-P, right? And then scegliere, io scelgo. So this is again is irregular in the io form, but now once you have the io form, then just put the endings. And that's it for this week. So allora ci vediamo. Oh yes, I want to remind people that I do have the office hours on Friday, and I am going to host a couple of the games. So if you don't get them done, you can still get them done on Friday. But if you don't think you're coming, just get them in on time, right? So we're going to do some of this on Friday, like an informal review session. Okay, uh, where is this? Ciao.